Now, for about 20 years, almost or just about 20 years, I've been asking myself, what is up with Neos? Why doesn't he mix with his brethren, the rest of the elemental heroes, very well? And what is going on with the Neospatians? They seem so out of place. Clearly, they have their own engine, but they just don't mix with the rest of the E heroes. They only really work for Neos. Doesn't make any sense. What do we do? Finally, I've been hit with an epiphany, and we've been using our dear friend Neos wrong, or we've had his idea wrong this entire time.
D-Time!
It's Michael Bowden back again, aka Destiny Hero Mike. And welcome back to D-Time! We're here, baby. It's always D-Time. In more ways than one. And man, big shout out to you guys for, helping that instant contact video spread. That was awesome. It had to be highlighted. And, I'm very glad that I was able to do so. And also, if you're new here, welcome to D-Time, where it's always D-Time in more ways than one. So I appreciate you guys. Just allow me to reintroduce myself. This is primarily a hero channel. This isn't just, a regular Yu-Gi-Oh channel. This is actually, I specialize in hero content. Clearly by the name of the channel, D-Time is actually based off the card. I'm a Destiny Hero player traditionally. You go back to my other playlists. And so I just do content just for us. Whether it's D-Hero, E-Hero, even Neos, I cover it all, as much as I can at least. So welcome to D-Time. I appreciate you guys. Also, the channel supporters, gotta give you, the membership supporters, gotta give you guys a shout out. Gotta show love to you guys for showing love to D-Time channel here at this Yu-Gi-Oh. So I really appreciate you guys for helping this channel grow as fast as it is. Now let's get into it. Neos. We've misunderstood Neos. We've misunderstood Neos this entire time. And why is it that even though his name is Hero, but it's almost like he doesn't play like one, right? He's our Dark Magician. He's our Vanilla / Brick. And the issue is, we've already got Vanillas. We've already started off with Avian, Bristinatrix, Sparkman, and Clayman. We always started off with Vanillas. And then yet they give us another one, but he's a lot brickier and harder to summon. It's always been his problem. But I want to tell you guys, the archetype and theme of this deck. Now, give me a second just to segue over here. Now, this is what we're used to, okay? Yeah, the good stuff, baby. Yeah, that's what we're used to. Look, Stratos, Liquid Soldier, go get Liquid Soldier, then Polymerization. That's Hero, okay? That's what Hero is. Even with Bristinatrix, even with the Bristinatrix, Avian, Sparkman, we have, it's always just fast-paced since the Lost Millennium. It's always fast-paced. That's the regular traditional hero. But Neos plays nothing like that, and I want to tell you why. Because, quote me on this, okay? I'm like, quote me on this. Neos is control. Now, some of you guys already saw this or already heard me allude to this in my previous matchup against, I was going against either Tearlament or Sprite. I was talking about Neos. Upon my discoveries and findings and playing this deck, playing pure Neos himself, the archetype, and his own mechanic, it's control. His mechanic is control. Understand, remember, he came out alongside, so Neos and the Neospatians, these guys came out alongside the Gladiator Beast somewhere around 2007, something like that. They came out alongside the Gladiator Beast. And the Gladiator Beast, the reason why, because understand, they have the same exact mechanic. I can't be the only one who noticed that. They're the only two monsters, only two fusion mechanics in the game that tag back. You basically, essentially go -1. For example, Aqua Dolphin, the most popular ones, Aqua Dolphin, Neos, tag back for your boy Aqua Neos. that is what the Glad Beasts do, but they do it a lot better. They're a lot more efficient at it. They have cards like Test Tiger and the Bestiari and things like that. They have, and the Geyserist. So Neos, the Gladiator Beasts, was supposed to be the meta parallel of Neos. Neos was supposed to be the control variant of Hero. It's a control variant, and the Gladiator Beast is the meta parallel of Neos, actually. So if you're wondering, like, why do these two tag back and then the other one kind of sucks? Well, I mean, they have powerful cards. They had powerful cards like Bestiari, and it's kind of hard to just summon Neos. I mean, look at him for obvious reasons. Level 7. How do we bring him out? And when we got him, there weren't many ways to summon him. All we had were Fake Hero and like Common Souls, things like that. But today, it's improved. Neos has absolutely improved, and a lot of things make sense. So the reason why he doesn't mix with our beloved regular heroes, even with the polymerization, really, and he has his own mechanic, because it's a control deck, and we never really played it as such. We never even used the contact mechanic because how hard this guy was to bring out. Now they tried to bring up cards like fusion deployment, things like that, but the damage was already done, and the impression, the first bad impression was already made. So we just scrapped him to the side. We couldn't make him work. Not in comparison. Why do this when you can just play an actual Glad Beast deck? So that's always been a problem. But yes, that is Neos. It is control, and that's why it never made any sense, and that's why it never mixed. On to his newer cards, Neos Fusion. Now a lot of people have a problem with Neos Fusion, but Neos Fusion only got better and better and better over the years. The reason why, and understand something, understand what Neos is also supposed to do. Not only is he supposed to control the board just by himself alone, or whatever fusion version that he turns into, like for example, let's see, this guy here. So he's supposed to, his powers he's supposed to have a situation for everything. Returning a monster, OTKing the opponent, what's another one here? Negating an opponent's monster effect with a card like the Dark Neos. So that is what his powers are supposed to be. So they made it very like superhero-ish or Guyver-ish. It's really interesting. But back to Neos Fusion, the clause, the reason why Neos Fusion says after this card, now this card is really powerful. It doesn't work in the same way as a Fusion Destiny. It doesn't work the same way. It works a lot differently. It works, the reason why, look, we're supposed to have only one monster on the board. Why is it when we tag back? It's supposed to go, when we tag back, we have a soul control monster, a soul control Neos monster on the field, the Fusion boss monster on the field, and he's supposed to control it by himself. Flare Neos, stuff like that. And Neos Fusion, the clause says we can't summon anymore because it's supposed to be that the Neos Fusion that came out, that essentially got cheated out by Neos Fusion, is supposed to be the sole answer to whatever it is that the situation calls for. So that's what Neos Fusion, that was the intent of Neos Fusion. Now, and the crazy thing about Neos Fusion is it buffs the Neos Fusions. Okay, the Neos Fusion is not, it helps the Neos Fusion not go back. We got Brave Neos. We ended up getting Brave Neos. He doesn't tag back at all. And now we have the additional protection, for the additional graveyard protection. So that's why we have the additional graveyard protection. And also is why we're not supposed to summon anymore after the card resolves. Now we can summon before, which that was very kind of them because they could have locked us out completely. But we're supposed to really, and so now we've got our first beatdown Neos. So they fixed that problem about Neos going back to the extra deck by himself, like just on his own. They fixed that problem with Brave Neos. And Brave Neos is really good, by the way. So they fixed that. And now, so his newer support, we've got Engage Neo Space, Favorite Contact, Instant Contact. Man, this card. I'm not going to go over to that, so check out the last video. I'm not going to go into the debacle with this card and Spirit of Neos. So they fixed a lot of things, effectively making this deck truly its own deck. And I also want to talk about some of the Neospatians here too. But the Neospatians, before we get into the new Neo support, the Neospatians, I just quickly want to gloss over the Neospatians. What they are, they're their own engine. They're supposed to help Neos. See, they have their own draw engine. They have a convert contact, and they have Neo's gift, Neospace gift. They have that. They have that going on for them, but clearly that kind of draw support just wasn't cutting it. And again, it didn't mix with the rest of the E-Heroes. And again, so this whole time we kind of just misunderstood it. And if we did, some of us who did understand it and try to truly create just a Neos and Neospatian deck, for some reason something was missing. So yeah, the Neospatian engine in and of themselves still wasn't good enough. As much as it just wasn't good enough to support our friend Neos. So then now, so this card by itself, Engage Neospace, fixes everything. It merges both, okay, because it mandatory, it grabs the polymerization, and then you send like a Shadow Mist, and then you get your Stratos. It glues everything together, this card. So if you're gonna play this card, you have to make sure you're playing a Neos deck, because it glues them both together. You're able to get both control and fast-paced fusion. You're able to easily summon your Neos from the Neos or Neospatian from the main deck and tag back if you want to. Also, in addition, this card gives Neos an additional 1,000 attack permanently, so he himself can get over anything on the board, plus a free polymerization. So again, it's still control. It can be what you want it to be. It can be either control and or OTK, or setup for OTK. So this card really solved that problem. And then you have your Spirit of Neos, who the problem with the deck was if you had a brick Neos in hand, you couldn't do anything. That was the worst thing. But if you have him in hand instead, well, now you're not going to die, right? And he's going to help you get whatever support that you need. And the favorite contact really just again, this card fixes everything, fixed the entire problem with Neos and his contact mechanic. His contact mechanic wasn't strong enough. Now it's pretty much overpowered because it contacts from the bandage zone as well and puts to the bottom of the deck. It doesn't shuffle in to where you can mistakenly draw vanilla Neos, a brick Neos, or like a grand mole that you might not want to see, or something like that. Goes to the bottom of the deck. So this card is overpowered, sort of, but it was much needed. It fixed the deck. So that's what Konami was doing here. They're telling us to play Neos. Hey, all the problems with Neos has been corrected, which I'm going to argue it has been corrected. Everything. You want to summon a Neos to the field? Here it is. You want another way to summon Neos to the field? Here it is. With additional adding cards. Another thing. You want to fix the Neos hand? Crosskeeper. You want to summon a Neospatian or Neos from the graveyard? Crosskeeper. You want to put Neospatian from the hand to the bottom of the deck? Crosskeeper. This card fixes everything. The only downside is there's no way to search this guy. Well, actually, technically there is Neos Fusion, which effectively this card becomes a pot of greed. So it becomes literally a +1 because you have your body on the field. You have your brave Neos. And ooh, man, yeah, this deck is. I mean, this video is a handful. Neos is a handful, and that's why he never made any sense to us. The contact mechanic never made any sense to us. Now let's get into his contact mechanic. I'm not done yet, guys. So our primary monsters, right? Our big guys, right? The only one I'm missing right now is Magma Neos. The reason why they tag back, when they tag back to the extra deck and they just pretty much wipe the board, is because the deck is controlled. The deck only really wants us to have one monster on the field. They don't want us to spam a bunch of different fusion monsters like the traditional elemental heroes, elemental/D heroes. They don't, Destiny heroes. They don't want us to spam a bunch of no. They want one sole monster on the field doing the job, and then when it returns, in addition, when they all return In addition, they wipe the board in some way, shape, or fashion. So that's why they work the way they do. But now I argue, favorite contact even makes it more scary, because now they cannot be returned, and nor can the opponent use something like a unicorn or the equip spell Dracoback, the adventure spell card, or a compulsory evacuation device on them. So that's kind of scary that they just cannot be returned. So now you can have your appropriate follow-up and push regain. That was another problem, because it was the board wiping mechanic. It was good, but it was also evasive. It's kind of like, well, I know my opponent's not going to OTK me, so I'm not going to make sure there's not going to be a whole board, because it's kind of a slower control deck. So this fixes it, and this adds more pressure to it, and that's why favorite contact chooses not, allows the monsters to not be returned to the deck. So they've improved on this deck over the years, but it's gone on under the radar. But now I'm going to say that it's here. And bonus, now a lot of people say that the Neos deck has no out to mine, and I'm going to argue it sort of does have an out to mine. This deck, the deck sort of has an out to Mystic Mine, and there's something that we're kind of forgetting, is that, again, for example, so since we have, there's a reason why I brought up Dark Neos, and this is bonus. The reason why we have Engaged Neo Space, and the reason why Engaged Neo Space can summon a hero, a free vanilla Neos from the deck, and or a Neo Spacian, is so that we can, if we want to, we can still contact fuse. Okay, so if Mystic Mine is on the field or something like that, we can pretty much narrow our board. For example, we could pretty much narrow our board from 3 monsters down to 1 monster, 2 to 3 monsters down to 1 monster, for example. And here's another thing, just really briefly, I just really needed to cut this one in, just really briefly. A lot of people are talking about, there's a reason why I have this guy here. A lot of people are talking about Aqua Neos, the hand loop. Everybody's talking about Aqua Marine Neos hand loop. I'm going to tell you guys something, just because you guys saw it on YouTube, running around on YouTube, and in popular videos and stuff like that, the hand loop doesn't mean it's good. And not just only that, but you have to ask, has it been tested? Has it been tested in tournament? Now, you see my live duels, those are all my results. I've gone X1s, there are times where I could have just gone completely XO and I brought you my results before I present to you a combo and I present to you a live setup in tournament. Tested and proven. This hasn't been tested and proven. I haven't tested and proven because I don't think it's good enough. The hand loop, I don't think it's good. I don't think you should do it, especially if you're going to do it blindly and you don't know what you're going against. Something like a tier limit deck or something that just does really good does really good with their things being sent to the graveyard. I don't think it's good or consistent, and also takes away from your own resources because you have to discard cards. You have to, with Aqua Dolphin and Aqua Neos, you have to discard at least 2 cards. I don't know, and I'm also not sure if the NXT fusion that you can bring out from like Instant Contact, for example, I'm not sure yet if you have to discard from that for that as well. That's 3 cards that's 2 to 3 cards that you yourself have to discard. So I don't think that's good. Now, I'd rather turn skip. Why focus on hand looping the opponent's hand when you could just completely turn skip? One, like I said, this technique is not proven in tournament, not that I've seen. We talk about it, but it hasn't been proven. This has been proven. You guys have seen it. I'd rather just turn skip, and I'd rather keep my cards in hand. I don't have to discard anything, and then now you just can't activate no cards. And by the way, when you activate Instant Contact to bring out the Aqua Neos from the extra deck, the other guy, the little guy from the extra deck, you're not able to go into Inferno Deceiver because he's not a hero. Inferno, that will lock you out of bringing out Inferno Deceiver to turn skip the opponent. So you cannot Inferno Deceiver in the same turn because that Dolphin is not a hero. So just keep that in mind, guys. So I don't think the hand loop is good. That makes it even way, just not even the turn skip. Let's forget the turn skip. That alone, you cannot Inferno Deceiver the same turn you do it. That alone to me isn't good. So That is just definitely a big thing to consider if you want to continue. If you want to consider the hand loop route, I think it's just kind of clunky. So that's my little rant / reasoning tidbit on that issue. And another thing I want to add, you want to talk about outing Mystic Mind. The buzz card currently is the, if I could just pull it up really quickly, Deck Devastation Virus. So not only are we resetting our board, not only are we inherently instant contacting, just like the Grab Beast. Not only are we inherently instant contacting down to one monster on the build, contact fusion, one monster on the board. We have a deck that we could follow into Dark Needles. We could follow up with Deck Devastation Virus, for example. We have a Deck Devastation Virus target in a slow, simplified game state, such as Mystic Mind. Another thing that I want to argue. So, fortunately, all the Neos monsters are warriors. They're all just one type. So, for example, let's say you've already skipped their turn. Or whatever, but they're still able to play. And, Super Poly is a problem, but, Rivalry, So, yeah, Rivalry pretty much. This is another good tip here. Another good card to consider maybe siding. Or maybe you could try maining 2 or something like that. Rivalry with just one of the monsters. And clearly he's not going to tag back because the instant contact prevents that from happening. And another thing, while we're at it, the Mass Heroes work in a similar fashion. Mass Heroes are also control, which is so funny because it's all Jaden, but Mass Hero is a control variant, and we have options to deal with things like Mystic. Like we can use the Deck Devastation Virus to get rid of the Dark Wall if we want to, or something like that. So Koga also controls the board too. That's why they all mix very well with the mass change. So that is just something to consider, and that's why I think Neos never made any sense up until now. It's not now. The deck can OTK. The deck can go crazy with the help of the other regular heroes. Sure, that's what it's for. That's the gas, but really, Neos is control. Neos is actually pure control base, and we should consider it's if we don't get some sort of full combo, it's okay. The deck isn't really supposed to play like that. It's mid-range control. If we're able, say the only card that we're only able to activate is something like a Neos Fusion, it's okay. The deck is slow. The only thing that we're able to do is just kind of sit and wait for them to attack with Spirit of Neos. It's okay. That's the way the deck functions. It's a control deck. Spirit of Neos, when he summons, he cannot be destroyed in battle ever. Not even after an Imperm or a Forbidden Chalice or a Forbidden Droplet, because it activated in hand. It lingered in hand. It already passed. So, or Skill Drain. They can't run him over. Because why? The deck is a control deck. It still has that variant. And so that's just something to consider, guys. So if you guys want a control hero deck, for those who are just, your style is control deck, you love playing control decks, consider the Elemental Hero Neos deck. Is actually control when played properly. That's the way to truly play Neos. So anyways, guys, just let me know what you guys think about this idea in the comments. And I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you guys come up with. And you guys be good to yourselves. Take care.